Darkness was falling over the land. The sky had begun to change color, heavy and strange. People were sleeping peacefully in their homes, carefree, just as they always did, night after night. But no one knew this would be one of the last nights of their lives. An old man stood alone beside a wooden ship, white-bearded, back-bent with age. But his eyes carried a light that held the weight of centuries of patience. People walked past him and laughed. Children threw stones at him. Voices mocked, "He has gone mad, building a ship on dry land far from any sea." But that day, something happened that no one had ever imagined. This is the story of Prophet Nuh, peace be upon him, the first messenger sent to humanity, a prophet who spent 950 years trying to teach his people just one truth: Allah is one. And in return, he received nothing but mockery, cruelty, and unbearable loneliness. Let's go back to that time. A time when the world was still young, but the hearts of men had already grown old and hard. Long before Nuh, A.S., his people had once worshipped Allah alone, with pure hearts. But as the years passed, that truth slowly began to fade. To honor a few righteous men who had died, their followers built statues in their memory: Wad, Suwa, Yaguth, Ya'uk, and Nazar. At first, these were simple memorials, nothing more. But generations passed, and people forgot they were only stone, only carved wood. They began to bow before them. They began to worship them. This was the moment Allah chose Nuh, A.S., a prophet whose mission was to pull his people out of darkness and lead them back into light. But this task was far from easy. Nuh, A.S., went to his people with a gentle heart. He spoke to them with love and patience. "O my people, worship Allah. There is no God but Him. I am a clear warning sent to you only out of mercy." They laughed in his face. They mocked him openly. Their leaders declared, "You're just a man like all of us. Only the weak and the poor follow you, the outcasts, the powerless. We will never accept you as our leader." A heartbreaking moment when your own people, your own blood, your own neighbors stand before you and reject everything you offer them. Even Nuh's, A.S., own son, Canaan, turned his back and walked away. His own wife did not believe either. Just imagine it, a prophet trying desperately to save all of humanity, yet left utterly alone even within the walls of his own home. Still, Nuh, A.S., never once gave up. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. Years stretched into centuries. 950 long years, spent trying to explain one simple, life-saving truth. There is no God but Allah. But his people's hearts only grew harder with time. They would push their fingers into their ears the moment he spoke. They would pull their garments over their faces so they wouldn't even have to look at him. One night, Nuh, A.S., turned to Allah in prayer from the very depths of his heart in a voice broken by decades of rejection. "O Allah, I have called my people day and night, but my calling only increases them in hatred and distance." This prayer was not merely a complaint. It was the accumulated pain of 950 years of tireless, thankless effort. But this was only the beginning. Allah commanded Nuh, A.S., "Now build a ship with your own hands." Just imagine this scene for a moment. A place with no sea in sight, no river nearby, nothing but dry, cracked earth for miles. And a prophet, cutting and shaping wood alone, building a massive ship in the middle of the desert. People would pass by daily, pointing, whispering, mocking. "O Nuh, have you given up prophethood to become a carpenter now?" Someone would shout from a distance. Children threw stones at his back. Grown men laughed and spat on the ground before him. But Nuh, A.S., remained calm, silent, unshaken. He would only reply, "If you laugh at us today, remember, a day will come when we will look upon you with sorrow, when Allah's punishment finally arrives." Then something happened that no one, absolutely no one, had expected. The color of the sky began to shift, darker and heavier by the hour. A strange, unnatural silence settled over the land. Nuh, A.S., gave his people one last, final invitation, one final chance to turn back. But their hearts had grown even more sealed than before. Then Allah's command finally arrived. When water begins to boil up from the oven, know that the time has come. And exactly as promised, it happened. From a small oven built into the ground, the very oven where bread was once baked for daily meals, water suddenly burst forth like a violent fountain. This was no ordinary rain. This was the sign of Allah's punishment, arriving at last. The sky split wide open. Rain poured down with a fury so intense it felt as though the entire heavens had collapsed onto the earth. Water surged up from beneath the ground in endless springs. Everywhere one looked, nothing but water, water, and more water, swallowing everything in its path. Nuh, A.S., gathered a pair of every living creature onto the ship, exactly as Allah had commanded. He called out to every believer to come aboard quickly, but there were painfully few, just a small handful of souls who had truly accepted the truth after 950 long years. Then came a moment of unbearable sorrow. Nuh, A.S., called out desperately to his own son, Canaan, standing at a distance, "O my son, come aboard with us. Do not remain among the disbelievers." Canaan shook his head and replied, "I will climb to the top of a mountain. It will surely save me from this water." Nuh, A.S., called out one final heartbroken time. Today, no one can escape Allah's decree, except the one on whom Allah shows mercy. And then, without warning, a massive wave rose up, towering, terrifying, unlike anything seen before, and Canaan vanished completely before his father's helpless eyes. A father's heart shattered into pieces in that single moment. But Nuh, A.S., understood even through his grief. Faith runs deeper than the bonds of blood ever could. The ship began to drift upon the raging water. On every side, nothing but endless ocean stretched out. No land in sight, no horizon, no edge of sky visible anywhere. Those huddled inside swayed silently between fear, uncertainty, and fragile hope. Months passed slowly aboard the ship. It sailed on and stopped, entirely by Allah's command through storm after storm. Then, one calm day, the command finally came. "O earth, swallow up your water. O sky, hold back your rain." And gradually, the floodwaters began to recede. The ship gently came to rest upon a mountain called Judy. When Nuh, A.S., finally stepped out onto solid ground, the earth around him was completely empty and still. Those who had mocked him just months before were nowhere to be found. Not a single trace remained. There was only a deep, heavy silence. And within that silence, a new world was quietly being born. This story is not simply about a flood that once came and went. This is a story about patience beyond measure, about delivering Allah's message for 950 years without tiring, without giving up, without ever losing hope. This is a story about a faith so powerful, it rises above even the deepest bonds of blood and family. It teaches us something timeless. No matter how much the world mocks you, no matter if even those closest to you turn away, never ever abandon the path of truth. Nuh's A.S. ship was never just a wooden structure floating on water. It was a living symbol of unshakable faith. It reminds us, even today, when Allah's decree finally arrives, neither wealth can save you, nor power, nor family ties. Only sincere faith truly matters in the end. But the real story was only just beginning. Because after Nuh, A.S., humanity started fresh once again from that same small handful of survivors, and slowly, across generations, the same pattern repeated itself once more. New people, new nations, new trials, new tests of FA. Because after Nuh, A.S., humanity started fresh once again from that same small handful of survivors. And slowly, across generations, the same pattern repeated itself once more. New people, new nations, new trials, new tests of faith. In the next video, we will discover the story of that new world and the incredible journey that began from it.